I'm going to rewind it all the way back to August in 2017. Katie was actually working at JB Hi-Fi. Katie remembers sending over one of her colleagues to talk to the cute guy that was in the gaming department because she was stuck at the counter and couldn't go and talk to him.
Before I met Katie, I swore black and blue that I was going to stay single forever and never get married. As soon as I walked into JB Hi-Fi and saw her, I knew instantly she was something else.
Turns out she didn't tell me, so I screenshot his Facebook profile, stalked him and sent it to Katie. I also stalked his mate Jimmy D, but that's a whole other story.
He just wouldn't shut up about her. He said, I just love how much she makes me laugh because besides you, Kieran, no one else really does that for me.
They told me it probably took about 10 minutes when they realised that their dating days were long gone and it was literally love at first sight.
Katie, I'm so in love with you. You're my best friend and I'm happy and excited at the prospect of sharing our life together.
Ethan, nothing in this world makes me happier than knowing I get to marry you today. From the moment you pulled out my chair on our first date, I knew I would spend the rest of my life with you. I will never forget the butterflies I had in my stomach as I drove home after that date, knowing in my heart that I had just met my future husband.
I know I annoy you frequently, and I promise that won't end either.
I miss you even when you're just in another room. I promise that I will tell you every day, probably multiple times, that I love you, that I'm proud of you, and that I'm right.
I know you don't love to repeat yourself and remind me of things, but that's just my way of keeping you on your toes and my own special way of telling you I love you.
I promise that I will try harder to fill up my water bottles. If you promise to stop touching hot things that have just come out of the oven.
I can't imagine life without you. I love you forever and always.
So it is a great pleasure that I have the authority to finally pronounce you as husband and wife. So family and friends, before you start clapping, I want you to repeat after me. Katie and Ethan. Katie and Ethan. You are married. You may finally. That I introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Liz.
Just a second for a happy ending.
We used to tell boys that we were a package deal because we were always together and they needed to know what they were getting into. When I saw Ethan at the end of the aisle today, I thought to myself, I hope this poor bugger realises he's marrying both of us.
It's always in our hearts. No matter where we go, no matter where we are, we don't have to look too far. Oh, no, we don't have to look too far. Home is always close, it's always in.
If you guys had anything less than each other, it would be a bloody crime. So I'm glad you got each other. I'm so happy for you, and I look forward to seeing the rest of your life.